Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. As tonight we have the Underdog Racing League as they take on the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the trucks here. As it'll be interesting to see what type of lines are being taken here, as the Charlotte Motor Speedway has just got its recently updated. So let's see how it all plays out here tonight in Charlotte. But we need to give a shout out to all the sponsors that help make it happen here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and we want to give a special shout out to ButtKicker. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from the ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So make sure to go to ButtKicker.com to see what they have in store for you there. You can get 20% off with our promo code of FreakyFast20. Remember, that is Freaky Fast with 2 E's in the Freaky. And you can go there to ButtKicker.com, get yourself 20% off, and feel what you have been missing. Thank you to ButtKicker for being a proud partner here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But I am Zach Hall up here in the booth tonight. Joining alongside me will be Sam Dyer. As, man, we got one heck of a race here with the Underdog Racing League here tonight, Sam, with the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's see if anybody can take off Finsler, as he's been on some type of roll.
Yeah, I mean, he has been dominant this season, a total of 7 wins, and really one of those drivers that you don't get to see very often just dominate a whole series. And the question is, who's going to step up? This is round number 16. Once we get to round 20, that's going to be the end of the regular season. Then playoff time comes around. So we're just around the corner. And for those drivers outside of the top 12, they've really got to start hitting their marks if they want to make it into the playoffs.
This is the go time if there ever was. And here tonight, Charlotte could be the place where someone turns it around and gets themselves into these playoffs. But man, leading up to it's getting to the pressure cooker part of the season pretty much, and these drivers are going to have to get everything they can and get momentum built up. You know, it's not only critical for guys trying to get in. I think the guys that are locked in and have a pretty good position of making it in based on points, those guys need to get some momentum rolling. So when they go into the playoffs, they're at full swing and not coming off a slump, because that can really affect you as a driver.
Yeah, I mean, looking at some of the drivers that really are trying to step up these last couple of weeks. I mean, Ian Baker had an up and down event last week at North Wilkes, and he's certainly a driver to watch out for. This 88 machine looking for another win, has two so far this season. And some drivers that don't have wins. Michael Ao Jr., I got to say, that 74 machine looking to get a win sometime before playoffs come around. And that's going to be one of those drivers that we know has been up front, has a top 5 speed, but it's the consistency that really hasn't been there.
Yeah, exactly right there. The consistency just is not there yet. But if you can build that up right before the right time, you know you got the speed, you can put yourself in the right position when these playoffs come back around to reset your season and go for that championship. So gotta be having that mindset of it's not over yet. This is the time to get ready for that playoff run. And tonight here in Charlotte's not a better place to start it, as this track is going to be pretty interesting to watch here with pretty much an equalizer here in the trucks. I mean, this is wide open for a good portion. So a lot of the early portions of the run is just going to come down to who can hold it flat the longest. So, man, tonight could be somewhere where you could see a driver get a first win and possibly put himself in the position that we haven't seen show speed yet this season.
Yeah, I mean, some of the drivers that we were seeing on top of our board as practice is slowly coming to an end. Kevin Orlando Jr. always has been fast at super speedways and mile-and-a-half courses. Not surprised to see the 27 up there, but it's going to be the driver that's in second place, Dustin Stunnard. That is a driver that has not gotten a win yet this season, but with that second place speed so far during practice, that's got to be at least helping his eyes. Has not gotten a win this season, currently in 8th place in points. So this is looking like a great event to possibly strike a win.
Yeah, good point with there with Justin, because you know, coming into really this season, it's really been kind of hit or miss for him. And really, the tracks I've seen him shine on personally are these mile and a halves. I remember a run at Las Vegas he had very clearly where he led a lot of laps. And I think if he can bring some of that mile and a half strength he has to here tonight, he could be a car we see up front for a good portion of this race. The biggest thing we got to watch for him is just if he can keep the tires under him, because that's one thing I noticed. It's just he's got pace. He's just got to be able to keep his stuff under him like he did at Las Vegas. And here at Charlotte tonight could be his chance to get into victory lane.
Now, Zach, this is one of those like cookie cutter mile-and-a-half courses. And, you know, Charlotte, I would say, is probably one of the easier mile-and-a-half courses that these drivers have to handle. But what are some of the more difficult things that these drivers have to deal with?
Yeah, this is an interesting racetrack. Like you said, one of the more easy tracks that are it's pretty tame. But I will tell you this: the track has a lot of character and a lot of different flavor to it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, completely different corners. You think you got one figured out, you're most likely not got the other one figured out. So 3 and 4, you know, with it being such more of a acute angle, it's definitely a tougher corner. It always seems like the tougher corner to get out of. And 1 and 2 seems like that corner you can really open it up and get that big run down the back straightaway. I'm expecting the high line to be pretty strong here tonight with the recent iRacing updates. So we'll have to see which driver can find which line makes the best speed. But tonight, finding that high line and staying out of that wall is going to be critical.
Well, qualifying is about to get started, as expecting to see the field really start to change up where they're going to be placing. But with practice over, qualifying just starting. Fastest during practice was Kevin Orlando Jr., then Stunnard, Aleo Jr., and then it's going to be Magner, who's going to be your 4th fastest, with Fensler being 5th fastest. Surprising to see the 5 car 5th fastest during practice, but in practice, you do sometimes have the draft to help you. Here during qualifying, you're all by yourself. And Zach, is the draft that important speed-wise when you're racing here?
Oh, it's huge in these trucks. The draft, I mean, you can gain upwards of a couple tenths here just with the draft. So I'd be surprised if anybody comes close to a 50 here in this qualifying session. So I think the times will be a little bit slower. If they are as fast, I'll be impressed by that. But the draft in these trucks with the lower horsepower, such high downforce, they break such a big hole in the air. It's super critical when you come to these tracks. Now the dirty air is tough too, But this draft down the straightaways, you'll always take that as you get a huge speed increase.
As we see on screen right now, it's Lance Durham, the 91 truck, and Lance currently outside of the top 12 in points, so needing some really good finishes here. Only has 2 top 10s this season, so needing to really step up his game. Currently top of the board is going to be Ian Baker as drivers starting their first lap off, and Lance going to be up to 4th on the board. So a lot of these drivers qualifying is going to be extremely important. Like you stated, this track, it's the outside might be somewhere that these drivers can go, multiple grooves and lanes, but track position is going to be pretty important early on in this race, I would say, just because of the stage break that we're going to be having on lap 40. And those stage points could be massive. It could be a make or break if you get into the playoffs or not.
Every league that has stage points in it, and you award points, especially for those stages, those things I've just seen it over and over again come back critically to be the thing that's make or break for drivers when it comes to making those last final spots by points in the playoffs. So, like you said, Sam, that is going to be the make or break point for them guys. And getting stage points will be critical tonight. Also, getting out front and getting in that clean air, that's going to help you here transitioning tonight. As it's like Stunner carrying over some early success in practice to this qualifying time as he's sitting on top of the board so far.
Yeah, like you said, about a 10th off of what these drivers are putting down during practice. Currently, right now, Justin Stunnard going to be with a 30.626. Still got a little bit under 2.5 minutes to go here in qualifying. Jason Finsler going to be second on the board, pushing back Loveland and others. And Loveland's another one of those drivers we haven't really been seeing. But Michael Leo Jr., top of the board for the 74 truck.
I tell you what, 74 on top of the board there, like you said, but this 5's coming out of 4 this time here. Does he have the run? Because the second lap has been the faster lap I've seen for these drivers. And this time, By doesn't have enough as he'll actually tie Justin Stunner. And it looks like it'll go to the thousandths or past the thousandths of a second, and Stunner will hold on the second.
10,000ths of seconds is the difference between those drivers. So close between the 33 and the 5, seeing who was going to get that second place position. Currently, it's the 74. As we're looking at more drivers still trying to come across the line, we still have a couple that haven't placed a time yet. As right now, we're on board with Kevin Orlando Jr. Orlando Jr. currently in 17th position. He was the fastest during practice, and you could tell that he was utilizing the draft to its fullest potential, also warming up those tires. That was something else we haven't really touched on. These drivers, when they were qualifying, the tires are so cold and slick, you can get yourself out of shape and not have the best qualifying time.
Oh, man, he puts himself up the second on the board with that lap, and he ran the outside in 3 and 4. It's something different I've seen from Finsler. He was running right on the bottom as Stetler comes across the line there. I'm not sure if that's a lap for him.
Yeah, that's going to be lap number 1 currently. He's doing his second. This should be our last driver to be putting a time down. Also, it looks like Christopher Heights is running some laps. So only about 3 drivers still on track. Trevor Ehart going to be able to put himself up to 7th currently on the board as we wait for the 94 to finish his final lap here. Across the line, Stutler's going to be putting himself 5th currently, pushing Loveland down again a couple of more positions. This is one of our bigger fields that we've seen so far, Zach. 28 drivers are here for Charlotte. This is one of the longer races we're going to be seeing throughout the season. 130 laps here. It's going to be a long one, but certainly strategy is going to be looming over a lot of these drivers' heads as we're getting ready. Christopher Heights coming across the line. See where the 21 truck can put himself. So it looks like after that time, 25th is the best he'll be. As qualifying has finally come to a close here at Charlotte, 130 laps are awaiting us as we get ready to look at our grid.
Oh, what a qualifying session there, Sam. Great job by Mike.
It's going to be Mike Aleo Jr. going to be on top of the board. And then you got Kevin Orlando Jr., as well as Justin Stunnard, Jason Finsler, Huff Stuffler, Loveland, Presley, Ehart, as well as Ringer. Job going to be your top 10.
And in the 11th position is going to be John Magner in the 15th. 12th is going to be Justice Murphy. 13th is going to be Dennis Steele. 14th is Jake Williams. 15th is going to be David Buell. 16th, Daryl Whitford. 17th, Lance Durham. 18th, Nick Alves. 19th, Dylan Walchman. And 20th is Ian Baker.
And then you go into 21st position where you got Eddie Wildermouth as well as Parker Johnston. Haven't seen Johnston in a while. And then we've also got Douglas Walco, and then we got Morris, Heights, Whiteford, as well as Sims and Karenberg.
I'd say a great field here, Sam. A lot of great names. One name that just stands out in my head there, 24th, Nate Morris. He was the winner from Las Vegas. So a mile and a half winner there, and shown a lot of speed this season. Let's see if he can work his way up. Ian Baker, also another driver, starting in the 20th position in that 88 truck. He's going to need a good race here tonight to get that momentum back up for those playoffs. But man, I'm excited. Big field here tonight, Charlotte, Sam.
Yeah, it's really exciting. You talked about how Morris is our Las Vegas winner, and then our other mile and a half course at Texas for the second week of the season. That's where we saw Ian Baker get one of his 2 wins, and so we'll see if the 88 truck's got anything here as the drivers are rolling off, getting ready for their formation lap. Zach, I touched on it. There's going to be on lap 40 is when stage 1 comes to an end. So are you trying to push and be aggressive here early, or are you playing it pretty tame here if you're up front?
Well, this is a time to learn. You could, beat, like you said, tame, back it up, try to save some tires and come to forward as the run goes on. But I think some drivers out here may push it harder on this first stint, see what the tires were like, and then that'll give them a good judgment for that final ending of this race.
Excited to see how this race is going to continue on. It's going to be Mike Aleo Jr. on top of the board. The juniors being your front row, as Kevin Orlando Jr., fastest during practice, was only able to get up to second place. We'll see how both these drivers are able to adapt, as this is a massive field. Exciting to see how these drivers are going to be able to adapt themselves. 130 laps. It's going to be a long one, and a strategy, fuel mileage, tires, how are you going to be saving them? How are you going to be utilizing your speed? Pace car is off. And here for the Underdog Racing League Truck Series, round number 16 has come to a start as Michael Leo Jr. is away, and it is green.
Great getaway from Mike there. He actually pulls a couple truck gap there from that bottom lane. Now let's see what these lines do here, Sam. I think it's going to be all over the place. I mean, I seen the leader here on the pole run the bottom line in qualifying, set down the fastest lap. But that man here we're riding on board now with Kevin Orlando Jr. He ran the outside for his lap, so could be 2 different distinct lines.
And we're seeing the middle groove be utilized, but the 74 truck going to be staying low, trying to hit that apex, and great run for himself. We do have a truck that's going to be going off the track, and that's going to be the one of Davis Steele. Going to be going off course and getting back on track, not bringing out a yellow, and luckily no one else involved.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, a few of those guys were lucky to get by. I believe that was Kevin Whitford. He barely squeaked by when Dennis got back onto the racetrack. That could have been a big wreck there with the win.
And up front, side by side, Kevin Orlando Jr., he might have been running second, but not going to be staying there for very long. Looks like we're going to be seeing that 27 lead that lap, but he's still side by side, and behind them, it's a driver that's been dominating all season long. Jason Finsler in the 5 truck, picking and choosing what lane he feels like is going to be the fastest one.
Well, looking at it earlier here, look at this outside lane. Big momentum with the working up the top, and I tell you what, I think that's going to be very tough to pass on the bottom. You're going to have to hope that somebody can really slow up enough where you can slide up in front of them, I think, to make the pass on the bottom, such as a slide job, because top is just really rolling really good right now.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is we're starting to see the sun go down, but the track and the outside temp still extremely hot. It is 91 degrees outside temp, and on the track, it's 91 as well. So it is going to be hot, slick. These drivers have to figure out how to adapt. But here comes Finsler trying to make a move, as well as the 33 following suit.
Great stuff here early on. A little bit of everybody trying to work each other out and figure out what line is going to be the best for them. And right now, I think most guys have figured out it's that top line is actually ALO Jr. out there. He has the advantage of that clean air, so he can kind of pick and choose his lines. Finsler's into the wall for 2. He's going to get a little bit of damage there. That's going to slow him up for going into the 4.
That's going to give Finsler a chance to possibly pounce on the 5, and that damage. That is what is the one thing that's the disadvantage of being up on the high side. It is you're getting that speed, but if you get tight at all coming off the corner, that outside wall is really lingering and waiting to hit you.
And it's really tough because you're following. When you're that truck like the 33 there following in position on the outside, you got to make sure you do not overdrive the corner behind him because that dirty air, you will really, really push wide and get into that wall. As you see the leader, he is utilizing the bottom while the rest of the guys searching for clean air up on top. It's looking pretty spicy so far, but I think that outside line is just really strong when you try to make a pass, though.
A little bit of monkey see, monkey do. You don't want to follow another truck into the outside wall. You're getting that draft into these corners, but that dirty air certainly can tighten you up and not have the best entries on these corners, and that's where you'll be losing a lot of time. Drivers currently staying all in line. Some of the drivers that are closest, though, it's going to be the battle for 10th place as Matt Job under fire from Jake Williams.
Wow, you can see, look at the 88 of Ian Baker up there, too, about 3 or 4 cars back. He's working the very, very top. He just got to the outside of 52, but just couldn't make it work. But this group right here really having a great race there with Jake Williams in the 29, working the outside of the 18.
Williams going to be trying to make some moves here, and Williams, one of those drivers we haven't really seen that much the last couple of weeks, so it's good to see some new faces back into the racing scene.
Oh, definitely good to see drivers out there we ain't seen in a few weeks. But look at this Dylan Walterman. He's a multi-time winner here. He's trying to work his way through here at Charlotte. And it always seems like Walterman good at tracks that you can move around and search for grip. As I know he has a little bit of a dirt background. So that kind of it tends to, favor those guys. So let's see if he can figure out something tonight as he works his way through the field.
Yeah, Walterman, a few of our 2-time winners this season, one back at Bristol, and then also one back at Talladega, trying to make it 3-time winner this season possibly, is slowly making his moves forward. And Walterman, sometimes he's up front, starting up front, and is able to stay there and then bad luck strikes, or he starts in the back and makes charges forward. We're expecting to see him crack into the top 10, maybe even the top 5 later on in this race.
Great racing going right here. And this is kind of turned into somewhat of a Kansas style race. That's one of the big things when you go to Kansas is staying out of the wall. And I think that's what like we talked about earlier, is going to be a big thing for these drivers out here. But this top line is showing its dominance here, and these drivers are having to utilize it, and it's going to make passing very tough, especially if there's not a gap for you to slide up in front of that driver to pull that slide job off.
Do want to give note, driver that qualified in 11th did have to come into pit road after issues. That's going to be John Manger, who is all the way back in 28th position, hoping the stage comes to a close before he goes a lap down, currently about 19.3 seconds back from our leader.
Riding on board here with Nick Alves in the 16th position. You see up ahead of him is Dylan Walterman. You can see the battle still happening in front of them with Matt Job in the 10th position there. He's got Jake Williams also up there with him, and Peyton Presley. So everybody's trying to get passes done, but it seems like really you can't really go nowhere. Look at Walterman. I think he's going to make the pass on the 18 there as he slides up in front. Does the 18 let him in? He's going to try to cross back over, but can't get it done. Now Walterman has the outside. Can Alves get to the outside of the 18 though?
They continue to get back and forth, not really giving it an inch, as they continue to just not really give anyone the space. But looks like Murphy going to be able to hold strong for now. They're still side by side. Walterman trying to make that outside line work. Looks like he might be able to get it coming out of the corner.
And you can see all these drivers up ahead working that top groove. And that's going to make the air up there just way dirtier and just way harder to follow. Jake Williams trying to get the outside of Job. Does Matt Job let him in? Looks like he's going to slide up in front of him, but does Jake get back to the outside? It's really tough when you're trying to make the pass on the guy in front of you, but you can put yourself in a bad position to go backwards.
Yeah, I mean, this hornet's nest is getting dangerous. You've also got Baker, who's in the middle of all this. Baker, currently our biggest mover so far, up 7. Now you could say 8 positions. Started back in 20th place, now up to 12th. And he's just trying to slowly make his way forward. And Baker currently one of the fastest cars on track based off of his fastest lap all race long.
And you can see right now he's just trying to work that bottom groove in the 88, and just it's to no avail. The outside line is just too strong, and we're seeing it being used by everybody. And right now, the leader, Jason Finsler, looking to take that from Mike Aiello Jr., so it might change hands here off of 2.
Finsler going to be going on the outside and certainly getting that momentum out of the outside corner. It looks like he might be clear. He is clear. The 5 back to the point. and he is going to be trying to march his way. And you might be thinking, Michael Ao Jr., he's been running on that low line, and it's different from what everyone else has been doing. Caution going to be in the back, though. It's the 72.
Oh man, heavy hit there, I believe, for Douglas on the inside of the wall, but looks like he'll immediately tow it too in the 72 to take that thing to the pits.
Yeah, he it looks like he got tight through the center of the corner 1 and 2, and after that just decided to park it. As you're going to see him just pull it to the inside and just not happy with the way his truck has been feeling, and decides to dump it into the wall, and his day is done. So an odd day for the 72 truck and an early caution, breaking up our stage in half. When we go green, it's going to be about 20 laps to go in stage 1. So, giving you some information, these drivers do have 4 sets of tires in pit lane right now, and it might be a time for you to take a chance into pit road. And it looks like Stunnard's going to be leading the charge in the 33 for those drivers.
Oh man, I like the call from these two, but unfortunately, they're going to be looks like one of the very few drivers. Let's say they got another 2 drivers, maybe 3. It looks like 3 other drivers will elect to come pit road. So 5 drivers hitting pit road here. I would have, if personally, if I was 6th, 7th on back, I would have hit pit road here because really you can't. It's hard to pass, and we're seeing track position be a huge factor in this race. And if you could jump these guys, get ahead of these guys by using those new tires, when you come to that stage, they're all going to want to pit again. So you pit with them again, and then hopefully the race somewhat goes green. You never know. I mean, it's taking a chance by wasting a set of tires, but you get track position. And then the end of the things, I think track position in this race is going to be very critical.
Well, now you're putting yourself in kind of a hole, because now you got to pick and choose. If you're taking tires now for a lot of these drivers, do you even want to take the chance of taking tires at the stage break, or do you have to just stick with what you got until the next time you have to go into the pits? I mean, this is going to be certainly a different strategy. I think it's all for getting those stage points. Remember, the top 10 to get stage points, so you got to make sure you make that charge and be up front.
Yeah, and it's gonna be 90 laps to the end of that race. If you did that strategy where you pit here and take tires and pit again at the stage, you're only gonna have 2 sets to end that stage. But technically, you really only need 1 if it goes green. You should be able to make 45 laps, split that 90 in half. So technically, to make it green, you should only need 1 set. But you're banking on no cautions, and in NASCAR and in oval racing, that's one thing you can never bank on. So I was just surprised that more drivers didn't try it just to get the track position, because it's just so hard to pass when you got this high line like this. It's really, really tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to make some moves for sure, and for some of these drivers, they got to be making some bold moves if they want to put themselves in a spot where they feel comfortable making it into the next round. Christopher Heights did come in, also get damage repair. Also got word that some other drivers think about coming in and getting repairs done, but deciding otherwise. So wait and see how, saw a couple of drivers get into the wall. We got Finsler, who got on the wall early on in this race, but still looks quick, was able to take the lead. So maybe you're able to brush the wall a handful of times before it really does some brutal damage.
Yeah, it looks fine to me. He's doing pretty good with this so far, so we'll see if he can hang on for now. As we'll see what the tires can do also with Stunner. He's going to start in the 23rd position, so big climb for him. See what he can do before we hit lap 40 for that stage caution, though.
Yeah, Stunner's going to be having to do a lot of work, and he's going to be starting on the inside line. So he's got to really be patient, pick and choose when he can get up front, and hope that this race, first at least for stage 1, goes to lap 40, all green. Pace car pulls off. Finsler waits, Aleo waits as well, and green flag in the air as they hit the restart zone, and a fabulous start for the 5, which continues on what we were saying last week at North Wilkesboro. It just continues every single track. This 5 just knows how to hit those restart zones.
Yeah, he's showing his strength of leading races. He has put himself in those positions many times to be able to show this, and now he's back out front again. Let's see if these drivers can do anything to take him over. Right now it just reset everything. So if anybody saved the tires, they're going to be in a good position.
Yeah, looking back at where Stunnard is, he's only moved up a handful of positions, up about 2. and now he's up to 21st spot, and he's got the 89 who's going to be following suit and expecting those drivers to work together to try to make their way. And really, the 33 is kind of going to be a spear just cutting through, and the rest of the drivers that have who just got fresh tires, they're just going to be following the 33 wherever he goes.
Yeah, and this is crazy to say, but in the first 15 laps of this race, we've seen from this 33 almost 2 seconds of fall off. So he is really cutting through. As you can see, he's running all over the back bumper of Lance Durham here off 4.
Lance Durham, got to be concerned. I mean, this is the one positive for the drivers up front, is if you've got right now Justice Sunnard and Joe, they're wanting to move forward with these fresh tires, but they are going to have to go put themselves in precarious spots. 3 wide as the 1 in the 91 has a little bit of contact. There is contact as the 33 gets put into the wall, and just like that, carnage. But we stay green. No, the yellow finally comes out.
Oh man, that's exactly what you don't want to have happen when you put yourself back there with good track position early. You come down pit road, and now you lost it all, and you got damage.
It was just a little bit of contact from Steele and Durham, and launched Durham into the 33, and away they go.
Heavy contact for a few guys just minding their business in the back too.
There's your Freaky Fast broadcast replay of the scenario, and you're going to be seeing the 91 coming down into the yellow and red. It's just those little bumps can really shift your truck, and hard contact behind them, as well as that's the 63 of Whiteford, who's going to be making some contact as well, and Whitford really hoping for not that contact, and looks like Lance Durham, after that contact, deciding to park it for the day.
Yeah, he took a heavy hit there, and same with Kevin in 63, just a hard hit on the nose. Here you're going to see Stunner come back down, get some work done on that front end there. I see you got some damage. So looks like Nate Morris possibly in the 18, and Justice Murphy also.
Yeah, I mean, with the damage these drivers gotten, the one thing that's looming over their head is that they do have a fast repair, but you really don't want to use a fast repair this early on, and especially on cosmetic damage. You're hoping that it's not too much damage, that you can get it quickly repaired and still be quick out there. But I mean, you're not wanting to use a fast repair until maybe those final 30 laps if you have damage, or if you blow your engine at some point during this race.
Yeah, I think if you're the 33 or just started there, you got to save the fast repair. I mean, it definitely is damage there, but get it fixed. The optional repair that you have, get it fixed. Go out there, make laps, get to the end of the stage first too, also, and see how it drives through there. And then you got a guaranteed caution come to 40. No reason to use that fast repair now, because if it's too bad, then you can use it at 40. So he's got a little bit of wiggle room there since he knows the caution's coming. So I would definitely not use that.
Well, of all the drivers that were around that and still have the freshest of all tires, Matt Job going to be up to 16th position after starting all the way back in 24th. So this 89 machine, the one to watch out for that could be getting himself up front, as well as Eddie Wildermouth. And Eddie is one of those drivers that's outside of the top 12, and he's actually has less starts than a lot of the people that are in front of him in points. So needing to get a lot of really good finishes to finish out the regular season if he wants a chance to point his way in. Certainly is going to be a lot and a steep climb for himself, but still possible for that 26 truck.
Well, I'll tell you, he did start on the pole at the Texas Motor Speedway, and he showed a lot of pace that race, and I believe he did finish in the top 3 that race too. So that was early in the season, but personally, since then, personally, the 26 is, the 26 Eddie just had a tough season overall. So it would be good to see him get back in there and get himself up to points, man.
And looking at some of the other drivers that are up front in the top 10, I mean, Jake Williams, great job for himself to be up there. Started in 14th, currently up to 8th place. So great move for himself. And then also for the 52, started back in 15th, up to 10th.
A few drivers definitely making their way through there, Sam. It's tough to pass too, and they're doing a good job. I mean, that's showing you can get it done. It's just going to take a little bit of work to get it done for sure, and definitely being patient. I think that's one thing you're going to see. Drivers who are patient, this is going to play out for them, because you're going to want to get a run on someone in front of you and jump down there and make the pass. But a lot of times that's just going to push you backwards a couple positions. And the drivers that are patient and let the drivers that are not patient jump out of line, they'll grab some free spots there by just running that outside line. So you'll see a few drivers definitely with their patience move their way up through that grid order.
Getting ready to possibly go this time by around. You know, Jason Fensler, he's choosing the outside lane, and we know the drivers are feeling a lot more comfortable on the outside. But are you surprised by this call on his part to keep on choosing the outside?
Yeah, on the restarts, I would think the inside would personally be better since you're getting up to speed that very first lap. Now the outside would definitely be better, once you're going into 3 and 4, but I still think the bottom would be preferred going down in here on this, restart, but Finsler did it last week a bunch at Wilkesboro, which, I mean, that's completely different, I mean, it's a short track, but it's definitely interesting what he's doing. I mean, he seemed to have a liking to it, he wants the top, and, as long as he comes off the corner in 1 and 2 side by side and doesn't let the 74 clear him, he should be able to hold on to this lead.
Just stay comfortable, stay consistent. I think that's the goal for the five. And if he continues on his consistent ways, championship seems to be right at his grasp. So expecting the five to have another great restart here. Looking at some of the drivers and where they're at, Kevin Orlando Jr. going to be in fifth place, sixth, excuse me. Third car or third truck on the outside, and that is a driver I'm expecting to try to make a move forward. He dropped back quick early on. I think he might be on the saving end of things, trying to set himself up for these final 10 laps to maybe make a charge to the front. As drivers get ready, pace car is off, and we are green. We're driving to lap 40. That's when stage 1 will come to a close.
Finsler, good restart again. Another oh, big wreck.
They're already wrecking and scrambling. It's going to be the 52 of Bull, as well as others dropping back. It looks like also it's going to be Sims and others. It's just a complete pileup on the straightaway, and that's the one thing you hate to see with old tires is a big old tire. Is your tires just spinning?
Oh, man, I believe that was the 52 of David Well that started around, and oh, that is the unfortunate another early caution here. First stage, man, a lot of carnage.
Oh yeah, it was on that restart. We're going to be seeing it here on the replay. The 52, you're going to see him on the outside, the purple machine. He is going to wheel spin it and put himself into the wall, and Baker just had nowhere to go, spins him around, and the rest, I mean, no one else had anywhere to go.
Man, they were just trying to dodge, but they couldn't go nowhere. The smoke on the front trailer was bad. Nate Morris, huge damage on his 22. I mean, multiple trucks here involved. Just, and this is when you least expect it. So a lot of drivers probably caught off guard with that wreck there. And, man, just unfortunate little mistake there from David. And it's so easy to do. They got about 20 green flag laps on these tires. And that's when you're usually going to start to see them tires really start to spin in the restart zone.
Morris and Magner both blew up, so expecting both those drivers to use fast repairs, and they do. And this is when things get concerning for yourself. It looks like also Brad Ringer going to be bringing that 76 truck into pit lane. And with all that carnage that just came down, you're expecting a lot of these drivers to hopefully not take that much damage. But if you've blown up, you got to use the fast repair early on. And we haven't even gotten to the end of stage 1. Still a lot of racing to happen.
Yeah, for as much as happened already in this race, I'm kind of surprised as much as happened through 27 laps at Charlotte. That's a very mind-blowing wreck right there that just happened, and unfortunate for drivers. I mean, it's just out of the blue there, and you can't really expect it, and you can't really miss it with the smoke there. So, just best thing you could have done was probably just stop and come to a nice slow stop. But a few drivers not able to see and get involved in that early wreck here as Finsler racking up them lead laps here again this season. He is started in the 4th position. He's just, you can't deny this guy. He is just so strong and tough each and every week.
Absolutely not. I mean, you got so many bonus points out there. You got laps led. That's a bonus point you can get a pole. That's another bonus point. And then also the stage points. That's where you get your big bonus points, is where you finish from 1st back to 10th. You get bonus points. First getting 10, going all the way down to 1 for 10th place. And Man, it is just a lot of work for these drivers. Incredible to see under 30 laps, and we already have 3 cautions. The first one was kind of a fluky one where a driver decided to pull off after getting into the outside wall and just parking it for the day. The second one, some carnage and contact. And then this third caution, just wheel spin and calamity on the restart.
Well, if that doesn't prove cautions breed cautions, then I don't know what does. Because, I mean, we could have stayed green for that first 40 laps. If we didn't have that incident on the back straightaway with the car pulling over. I mean, usually that doesn't bring out a caution, but it's pretty close to the racing service. So here on iRacing, it will throw it there here at Charlotte. So, yeah, that kind of has led us into this spiral here of a little bit of carnage that a few guys definitely did not want to get caught up here in the first stage, especially.
Yeah, I mean, that second caution, it was just because of the drivers that fresh tires. They were really trying to make their charge through the field as quick as possible, forcing the issue at times. And, learning 3-wide racing might not be the best decision. I will say I've watched some races races here at Charlotte and with different leagues, and there have been a lot of wild moments that happen at Charlotte. I've seen some 4-wide passes. I've seen go to overtime multiple times. And usually when you see a lot of cautions early, it means we're expecting a long green flag run later on in this race. So I'm expecting after stage 1, we get all the cautions out of our system and then start to see some strategy racing to finish out this thing.
Oh, I would not be surprised by that at all. And when we get to that point of that long green run, I want to see how we get spread out. Early in this thing, we've seen it kind of the top 2 got away after a few laps, and then kind of you had big trains of cars that it seemed like a car that was leading the pack was really struggling, and the rest of the cars are kind of just log jammed behind them, and you had just like separate little packs of them. So we'll have to see how they separate if we can get a completely longer run than that 15 lap run we had. But we'll see here. I mean, this right here will be less than 10, so we won't get nothing more than that. But once we get that stage caution, we, like you said, it could go into that clean green run at the end of this thing.
Excited to see if that's possible, but certainly a lot of racing, like you said, to be left here. Still looking at those drivers that have fresh tires. Justice Sunnard, I don't know if he had more damage to repair or not, but he came in for another pit stop, and he has really been dinged up after that last contact. I'm concerned for the 33 on how well he's going to be able to rebound, but those are the freshest tires. Matt Job able to now move up to 12th for that 89 truck. We'll see how those fresh tires are going to work because he hasn't really had that many laps to try to make those moves forward. Maybe only about 3 laps at most. It's been a lot of caution laps being ran for his 13 laps that he's been having those tires on.
And he's made a good little ground up, so we'll see if he can get it done more here as we come to the restart zone.
Pace truck is waiting, pulls off, and the rest of the field in the hands of the 5. Jason Finsler waits for the restart zone. They are in it, and we are green once again at the start of lap 31. 10 laps to go here in stage number 1.
Well, Finsler, what a guy. I say this every week. Another fantastic restart from this guy as he puts a couple truck links between him and Mike. As remember, these guys still in old tires trying to make everything they can here. Been through a few heat cycles. Let's see what they got here as the Freaky Fast machine works up the outside here in the 46.
Yeah, Walterman going to be right now up to 8th place, trying to make the move forward and hoping to make the pass. Currently looks like he might be able to make it done. And now following suit, just seeing Orlando Jr. as well as Huffstuffler as they're side by side in front of the 46.
A couple guys trying to make moves there. You see Orlando Jr. there. He's going on that outside. Huffstuffler, though, going to slide up into the outside lane, protect himself from Walterman there as he slides back to 6th. As right now, the front 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 are all single file.
Currently, right now, my eyes are on the 89, as it's going to be Matt Job trying to make a pass, but he's got a line of trucks if he wants to get up into the lead that he has to get by. Currently in 9th place, able to make the pass on Nick Alves, and now Job continues to make his charge forward. A driver I'm looking in this field, though, on the older set of tires, James Loveland, certainly has some pace to watch out for. But just running about 4 to 7 tenths faster is Job, now up to 8th, about to be up to 7th.
Man, he's really, and this is the great thing about running the outside line. He's able to utilize that bottom, clear track for him down there as he utilizes the tires there as he gets past Waltzman. Now up to 7th. See if he can keep going forward. He's been about a half a second quicker than the leader each time by. Let's see, he passes Huffstetler off of 2. Continuing forward, Sam, I think he may have a shot here at the win of the stage.
Yeah, I mean, past the driver each corner, it's working out. The math adds up that we'll be seeing the 89 up into the lead, and following him, it's going to be Eddie Wildermouth, and Wildermouth's going to be up to 8th currently, and he's got Huffstetler in front of him. So this 26 making the same amount of moves forward, just about a car or 2 difference between the 26 and the 89.
Oh man, that'd be great to see him have a good run there. As you see him working over Huffstetler, here's Earhart there is getting pressure from Matt Job as Job is trying his best to go forward. Looks like he will as he's past the inside of Loveland now. He just has 2 cars left as they come out of 4.
Yeah, I mean, Job currently coming into this race was back in around 5th, back in 8th, excuse me, in 8th and 9th in points. So really needing a solid day if he wants to be putting himself securely into the playoffs. So these points, very important as he's now up to 2nd.
Oh man, it's gonna be tough to make it. I mean, every lap that he goes longer, the tougher and tougher this is gonna get. And there he goes, clearing Mike. He's gonna have a good shot at here. There's gonna be no doubt here. I think he gets this 5.
Yeah, Matt Job doing a great job for himself. Still running about, anywhere from 3 to 4 tenths faster than everyone else on the track. And right now, Jason Finsler, he might be the fastest on the old tires, but a sitting duck as the 89 of Matt Job makes the passes. They're side by side and fully securing it as they enter 3.
I think 3 and 4 here is where he'll clear him as he's just got the center speed. Yes, he does. Clear to the lead. Matt Job, what a race call, or what a pit strategy call for him there is leveling behind Finsler there for the 3rd position, trying to hold off Wildermuth. As Wildermuth, same pit call, it's looking good there for those drivers.
Yeah, able to make a great job for himself. Ian Baker, the 88 truck, he's going to be having to pass 2 trucks at a time if he wants to catch up, but he is on the freshest tires out of everyone on course, and he moved himself all the way back from 20th up to 6th on this run.
And utilizing the tires here, you can see him working around him. He's already passed cleared the 74. Going to get to almost the back bumper to the 25, and this is all on the bottom here, wide open for him as they take the lead. There'll be 2 to go this time.
These drivers really marching their way. Joe, just goal, get as much of a lead before Baker has some clean room to try to catch up to you. Right now, Baker has made himself up to 4th and currently trying to figure out if he can get by Wildermouth or not. Wildermouth, he's trying to figure out how to get by Finsler, and those tires are starting to equal out just a little bit, but it's Baker that has the advantage and really cruising as the 26 blocks, puts the 88 into the grass, but able to hold on, and they still stay straight going into 1.
Oh, he's all over the back bumper here. This is the final lap of this stage here, stage number 1. He's trying to get everything he can here, Ian Baker, and I just don't think he'll be able to get to the 2nd position. 3rd might be available here as they go to 3-4 all over the back bumper here. 26 will be beside with Finsler here coming out of 4 though.
Finsler's going to be getting the run, and honestly, I think Baker should have followed Finsler there. Just saw Wildermouth not able to really secure that pass. The pressure was too much as they come across the line. The yellow finally comes out for the end of stage 1.
Well, I tell you what, congratulations, Matt Job. That's 10 bonus points in his back pocket. And he's going to be a happy man there as he gets that. And I got him some good track position here. We'll see what he decides here when we come to the stage break for the caution.
Yeah, I mean, drivers that made pit stops on that last restart, that was Baker as well as Brad Ringer, and both of them making a massive charge for themselves, getting themselves into the top 10. And, sometimes you got to be making some of these bold moves if you want a chance to get some stage points. And for both those drivers, great days to start out, and now you hope that that momentum carries forward. The only issue is now you've already used an extra set compared to the other drivers that decided to stay out. And Jason Finsler, he's now going to be able to equal out these tires coming in the pit road this time, and the rest of the field's got to be a little bit concerned as there is your stage winner of the 89 of Matt Joe.
Yeah, I tell you what, that right there tells us that you can get it done on new tires. And there's a way to do it. I mean, the bottom is open, and it's free taking pretty much for these drivers. And good job on them. This is really cool strategy call here. I mean, they use the cautions that we've had here, but let's see what they decide to do for if they come down the pit road here. Yeah, I think Job will.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to all come in. If you're staying out, it's because you pitted on that last restart. The driver that's staying out, it's going to be Michael Leo Jr. Surprised to see that of the 74. Might be thinking about leading another lap, possibly. This is shocking to see that Aleo Jr. stays out. Also, looks like the 00 going to be staying out as well.
Don't want to say that's a bad call from Mike, but it's a head scratcher, as I would say, because just hasn't pitted yet. I mean, if I'm correct, I believe so.
No, he has not pitted yet. And the only strategy I can think of is the fact that, Michael Leo Jr. might be thinking, hey, we saw a little bit of a green flag run there for 10 laps. Might be going green for a little bit longer this time around. And if we do get green flag pit stops, why not have an extra lap of fuel to try to get a little bit further than everyone else?
Yeah, I just wonder about giving up that track position. That track position is going to be vital. When you're on the same tires, and sometimes this is a dangerous spot he's into. If he pits this next lap, you can get a black flag here for entering a closed pit when you're up here in the lead like this. So we'll have to see what he's doing, and if he stays out here, I mean, he could probably go maybe another 20 laps at the most on fuel with the amount of cautions we've had. So I don't know if the decision there is. Maybe looks like he will be coming this time here as he's kind of looking. Yes, he will. So yeah, just staying out that one extra lap there, but a lot of track position to go out there for me. I don't know if I would have been willing to do that.
Yeah, all coming into the pits. The one driver that is not, that's going to be Peyton Presley, the 11. After being involved in our third caution of the day, had to use a fast repair, and now currently in the lead. Going to get at least a lap led, hopefully for the 11. And he pitted on the last restart, so might be thinking, hey, I want to try to save an extra set. I've already used the set of tires, so I'm going to lose time, but this might help for a strategy moving forward if this thing goes green to the end.
Well, we'll have to see who can play the right strategy. I mean, if it stays green here, I think you just split it up. But if you get cautions, that's where it's going to get very, very interesting. And I don't know, this man. This is the point of the race where my brain starts running wild as a driver, just thinking of the possibilities here that could outcome for this. And if this thing goes green, I like where Finsler, of course, is sitting. I mean, he's sitting in a really good spot, and Peyton Presley up here. I don't. His strategy is going to have to be very interesting. I mean, he definitely is on a very off-sequence strategy. I think he might have a tough time staying out of the way here.
Looks like Joe might have been involved in that third caution because he stayed a little bit longer than everyone else, getting some damage repaired for that 89 truck. So instead of being around up front, possibly starting in second place, he'll be all the way back in 17th. So luckily got those stage points, got those 10 extra stage points and a lap led. We'll see if the 89 truck has the speed after getting those repairs done to be back up front and possibly up in the top 10 or top 5.
Well, we've seen him use strategy once so far to get up there. We'll see if he can possibly drive himself up there the old-fashioned way now. As like you said, got that damage repair done and has gave up some spots. But at the end of the day, you want to get that truck fixed and have it nice and pristine, as this track is all about the least amount of drag and speed you can make around it. So can't have no damage.
Nope, cannot get it. We're a little bit past, we are a little bit, but we're pretty far past over 100 laps to go for these drivers, under 100 laps to go. So, for a lot of them, excitement in the air, and now it's a strategy call. You're not racing to lap 40, you're racing to a lap 130. A lot of racing still to be seen, and for some of these drivers, concerned. They've already used their fast repair for some, and for others, it's how aggressive do you really want to be? Or is it save on those tires all the way to the end?
Well, I'll tell you, has a big shot here coming to this restart is James Loveland starting in that fourth spot. Can he use the 11 to get that jump and get to the outside. Or actually, sorry, that's the 76 there of Brad Ringer. See if he can get to the outside of the 5.
Rod Ringer won back at Knoxville in a surprising different race than what we've seen all season long. But stage 1 is over. We race to the end. Pace cars off through the restart zone. Green flag in the air. And I got to say, Jason Finsler, he certainly tried his best to stay close with the 11, but the 11's clear coming into 1.
It looks like 11's going to slide up the racetrack, but 5's going to get under Jason Finsler nice and easy to the lead. That was clinical, that restart there for him to get back out front. Is the battle now for the 3rd position as they catch up to Peyton.
Yeah, I expect to see the 11 of Peyton drop back extremely quick. He's on much older tires than the rest of the field. So if he is somehow able to stay up in the top 5, yeah, that is incredible on his part.
Yeah, I think he's really going to start to feel the effect as this thing's come up to heat, as he had a little bit to cool him down. And a few laps in, those things will really start to show the difference between the drivers for new tires. Just love will work in the bottom and see if Ringer's pushing them down the back straightaway here as they're trying to get past this car on older tires.
Yeah, Ringer is trying to be patient, but you can just tell with the way that he is wiggling back and forth, he's kind of getting fed up of being behind the 11. But the 11 seems to be running where the 76 wants to run, which is on the high line. And you got to put yourself in a difficult situation if you want to be making passes here on asphalt.
I tell you, Presley's done a great job with the tires so far. Like I said, cooled him down with that caution, but he's hanging in here on the outside, fighting hard with Brad Ringer.
I mean, you got to remember, like, all these drivers were running the high line for most of that stint. So if he's running where everyone else feels comfortable, he's going to be able to stay there for a bit longer than what we were seeing from our leaders previously. But you're starting to see it now. He is dropping extremely quick, already losing 2 positions that lap, expecting to be 2 to 3 each lap moving forward.
Yeah, that disadvantage is going to grow and grow as the run continues on, as drivers are able to launch by him on the bottom. And I tell you what, Finsler opened up a 6/10 of the second gap, but last time by, Loveland not too far behind in the time section. So see if Loveland has anything for Finsler, as Ringer not looking too bad too, also there in the 3rd position.
Ringer up to 3rd. He was being pressured by the 25 of Trevor Earhart. And 25 truck not able to make any moves. Was side by side for a second, but now he's got to be worried of the trucks behind him. We got Kevin Orlando Jr. and Waldermouth. And Waldermouth, with the strategy call of following what Joe was doing, it has worked out for the 26. He's got that track position and a net gain after switching up the strategies compared to everyone else.
Yeah, he really did a great job with that. I mean, this is what Job would have, the position he would have been in without the damage. So Eddie taking advantage of the track position. Now he's in the top 5, fighting with Kevin Orlando Jr. and Ian Baker on the new tires. He also took advantage of driving up through the field, and he had to use a faster player even, I believe. So great job for Ian Baker as he's starting to try to crack back into the top 5 as he's going to push Eddie down the back straightaway.
Nay Morris currently in 15th place. See on screen. Other drivers have been making some great rebounds. The 33 of Justin Stunnard currently in 10th place. Great rebound for the 33, who's had it coming down into pit road 5 times already this race. Once was for a strategy call, and the other 4 trying to get repairs done, as he was involved in a couple of accidents this race. But a great rebound so far early in this run.
Yeah, great rebound for a few of these drivers. Look at the 63 here, Kevin Whitford. He's running in that 23rd position as he was involved in that caution. It looks like he got the fast fix done on that 63. As you look back now at Scott Kerberg in the 14th, he's running in that 24th position, about 12 seconds back from the leader, as he's about a second and a half ahead of the 21 of Christopher Heights in the 25th position.
Whitford going to be battling currently. Going to be battling with the 89 of Job. Job still on the outside, holding strong as well as he can. But this is a struggle. These guys are on the tail end of this first big old line of trucks that are trying to stick with our leaders.
Yeah, trying to stick here with each other, and the outside line. You're seeing Mike Yellow Jr. here too in the 74. I mean, he has been trying to get past Justice Murphy in the 18 for so long in the 74. See if he can try to complete here as they come off of 2. You're going to see they're steady even side by side, but look at this, the 18 down the back straightaway. Going to pull a little bit ahead, but a little bit of damage also, I believe.
Yeah, a little bit of a little bit of damage on both vehicles. So yeah, they're just wheeling around, hoping that they can stay strong. It certainly has been a hard one. And Peyton Presley, he's now dropped back to 15th place, and Presley certainly has dropped back, but he is playing the long game right now with staying out on those tires. He's expecting this race to go green if this strategy is going to be working out.
Yeah, it's going backwards right now for the 11, and he's just got to hang on and hope for something to happen for him to get himself back in position that he wants to be in. But he had to play his cards that way, as he had already used his set of tires, so he wants to save some more for later.
Nick Alves going to be currently in 13th position, and Alves doing a great job trying to get into the top 10. And currently, it's for some drivers, it's go mode, get up front as quick as possible. And others, they're in tire saving thoughts of, don't need to push it too hard. It can be, stay close, keep my piece up, but don't need to try to run my car into the ground just yet.
And you're looking at Huffstutler there. He's directly behind John Magner there in the 15th. He goes to his outside. Looks like Magner going to get stuck on the bottom. There's Alves now, and possibly Nate Morse in the 22. As it's kind of the reverse effect of Martinsville, where you get freight trained, but freight trained on the bottom. So going backwards there for himself. But man, I tell you what, looking up into the top 5, you see Walterman actually there battling Parker Johnston there, the 48. But the top 5, Ian Baker's broke into that, so he has got by Eddie and Kevin, as Eddie Wildermuth is battling with Justice Thunder, and he continues to just run back up to 7.
Yeah, and trying to stay up front as much as these guys can. Got to say, though, our front 4, they have checked out from the rest of the field. Over 1.5 seconds is the difference between 4th and 5th place. As you're seeing this battle going on, the 33 trying to figure out how to get away from Eddie Wildermuth. And this 26 Jurassic Park looking machine just not able to make the pass just yet.
Yeah, not able to make that work there as he's starting to fall back here into the clutches here. As Walterman now, he's going to try to position himself, and he's got a big run off of 2 to the inside of Eddie here as they come off the country.
Walterman going to be ducking it to the inside. And, the inside, they're trying their best, but they just cannot get back on the throttle as soon as everyone else, just because of the way that their truck wants to push up on these exits. And Zach, with how these trucks are running right now, is there really a moment that there's no turning back and you kind of have to get aggressive with your tires and really not saving anymore?
Yeah, that point is going to come at some point here for these guys. You want to save as much as you possibly can, but at some point you're going to have to push. If you can see that outside line open up, then you can see a possibility of going forward. You have to take it and use those tires up, especially because once we get to a certain point, the tires start to plateau and you start to run similar times all throughout this racetrack. And then it's just a game of just managing the temperatures and not pushing them into a range of where the tire is just going to be having no grip. But we're seeing a lot of drivers pulling slide jobs right now and moving all over the racetrack here as this one continues on.
Yeah, we're just keeping our screen on this Hornet's Nest. This is 7th all the way back to 13th, where we're seeing just all these trucks on top of one another and not giving any positions really. They're just slicing and dicing back and forth. And this is just great to see that the drivers really are keeping themselves up front. They're keeping it clean. And, after that first stage, a lot of cautions going around. I think everyone understood, let's just take it easy. It's going to be a long race. But Michael Leo Jr. really getting himself close there to Kevin Orlando Jr.'s, getting right close to Nate Morris's back bumper. And Morris, great rebound for the 22. He blew his engine. And then, just doing a great job putting himself up here in the top 10.
Yeah, he's been charging. Look at him there. He goes to the bottom now. They're on the bottom of Huffstutler. Can he slide up in front? Look at this move. Can he slide up there? Yes, he does. And Huffstutler's going to cut him a break here. Yes, he will. Great move from Nate Morris. And that's how you get a pass done here at Charlotte when it's the outside line.
It might not have been one of those quick, fast dirt track slide job moves, but it is the most neat and tidy way to do it that you saw there from Nate Morris. And he'll continue to rip it on the outside, trying to get by there Walterman. And Walterman stuck on the inside. This 22 truck, you talked about how he won back at Las Vegas. He looks poised to try to be making another charge. Currently looking at his times, he's running about 2/10 slower than what our front really 3 are running, but still looking quick as he is one of the fastest cars from 5th to 10th.
Yeah, he is charging up through now past Stunner. So yeah, he's up to that 7th position, and he's been on a show. I mean, he was going top to bottom, making slide jobs stick here and there. I mean, that's what you want to see as a race fan when the track's like this, and he's able out there to use this track up to his full advantage. As really those drivers still getting into just as third in the wall to 33.
Yeah, Stunner was running a little bit too high, got tight in that dirty air, pushed the 33 up into the outside wall. It just has not been his day. Looked quick during practice and qualifying and tried a little bit of a different strategy than most, and it has not been working out ever since that first caution for Stunner.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing during this point of the run, this is the longest run we've had by far. And guys are feeling that right front tire really start to leave them, and they're really, I think, pushing tight on the exits here. So very tough not to hit that wall, and especially when you're already running up there. The fastest line's up against the wall and you're tight. That is a tough predicament to be in.
Well, we got a tale of two coins right now, I would say. Nate Morris right now flying, one of the fastest cars on track, but he's all the way back in 7th place. And Brad Ringer, he is one of the slowest cars, but he had such a good start. He burned off those tires so quick. He will be soon to be losing a lot of positions, currently in 4th place.
Yeah, if you're Brad, you're just out there like kind of drowning at the moment. It's tough, man. You're just stuck, and tires are just overheating, and you just continuously run bad lap times over. He's just trying to hang in here to see if anything will help him stop the bleeding at the moment for that 76. He is definitely going backward as Nate Morris going forward, but Ian Baker, he's got a little bit of a friend there, Kevin Orlando Jr., as they battle for that top 5.
Yeah, and the way that we're seeing the 88 and the 27 battling, it's costing them in time, as we're now starting to see that train of trucks with Nate Morris leading it. They're gaining up on both that of Ringer, Baker, and Orlando Jr., all 3 of those machines. 2 different stories. You got Baker and Orlando that have been duking it back and forth, using up their tires that way. And then you've got Baker, you got Ringer, who's just burned his stuff up and now is dropping back. Something we haven't really touched on, lap traffic. That is something these drivers are soon going to be having to deal with.
Yeah, at some point they're going to catch them, and it's going to be an issue just because, what line does lap traffic take? If they take the bottom, you're pretty happy. If they take the top, well, you're probably not too happy. Also the dirty air effect. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that happen here. Beat Baker into the wall. That's going to let Orlando Jr. by the 27. What a big move there for him, and a loss of speed for the 88.
Yeah, loss of speed, and now going to be dealing with Morris. The 22 automatically to the inside, does the slide job, gets right back in front of the 88. And Baker wants that position. He's going to have to do a crossover move here on the backstretch, but looks like deciding to just follow suit.
Nate Morris, the king of the slide job here tonight, as he's making multiple passes, sliding up in front of the slower race cars on that top groove. And that's how he's getting it done here, to see if he can track down Kevin Orlando Jr., maybe break it to the top 5. As continually, Nate Morris running times as quick as the leader. So let's see if he can get himself in position to possibly maybe fight for this thing if we ever get a caution.
That bright green and pink of Christopher Heights. Going to be our first car 1 lap down. Jake Williams all the way back, hoping to catch up to the 21 and become the lucky dog. But oh boy, that 21 is making things difficult for those that want to be making some passes. Baker, that damage when he hit the wall, that is affecting him greatly because he just continues to drop back, not able to really get up to momentum. And you're just seeing the cluster of trucks really trying to figure out how to get by the 88 truck at this point.
Yeah, and that damage, not only that's hurting him, but I think Baker's also hurt the tire. He seems like this season, as the season's gone on, he's struggled more and more as the runs have gone on, and that's been his kind of weak point. Is he's been strong in the short runs, weak in the long runs, and right now you're seeing him go backwards. I mean, drivers are making passes on the bottom. That's how you know you're super tight, is when guys are passing you on the bottom here at Charlotte. They're definitely turning a little bit better than you.
Yeah, having a lot of trouble, especially with this dirty air. It is hurting everyone at the moment. And last time by, fastest car on track would be Finsler. Second fastest is Loveland Ehart, and then it's Nate Morris back in 5th position, just making the pass on Kevin Orlando Jr.
And another slider move, sliding past Orlando Jr. The thing is, here is Jr. is going to be side by side with him. Here is see if he can pull the sliders. He might clear him off in the one. Yes, he does. So he pulled the perfect crossover, but Morris going to stick it on the outside here. A lot of confidence in that 27 to stick it there on the door, and yes, he does make the pass. What a job by Nate Morris. Next up will be Brad Ringer for that 22, because that thing is flying, boys.
Yeah, Ringer is not looking good for himself, just a sitting duck at this point. But Nate Morris, he certainly, after blowing up his engine, having to use a fast repair, he just said, well, screw it. I'm going to be trying to send it up front and make the best moves possible. He has really had to make a charge all the way through the field, cutting his way through every driver so far, and currently in 5th position and soon to be in 4th. Looking at some of the other battles, Nate Baker has dropped back to 11th as Nick Alves trying to make that pass there. And looking at some of the other drivers and where they're at, there's a major difference between our top 11 and 12th on back. 12th on back, they just seem like they've used those tires and just there wasn't a lot of tire saving and just issues overall for a lot of those drivers in the back half of the field.
Yeah, you're seeing the drivers who really are struggling with tire wear right now, and that, numero uno would probably be Baker. I mean, he's got the damage, but dropped back now past to 11th as Nick Alves gets there. But man, I tell you what, he could be in danger here of the 10 of Darrell Whitford, Justin Stunner, Matt Job possibly catching him. And I believe Job is on much older tires too, because I don't think he took tires in that last stop. Oh.
Yeah, Job was in a precarious spot where, yeah, he took tires. He could take them. We know he went for damage, but based on his pace, I would say he did take tires. The damage just has been a lot for him to deal with. But Job is one of the faster cars around the machines he's at. Also one of the fastest trucks on the course at the moment. But like you can see, he's just trapped. There's a wall of machines in front of him that if he wants to get by, it's going to take some time.
Yeah, and like you said, one of the fastest trucks on the track, and what he shows each and every week is Job is quick on the long runs. And see him there passing the 21 of Christopher Heights. He's up top, so this is making it not easy for these guys on the lead lap here. Maybe he can take advantage of that, and Job can jump up a few positions as he's definitely looking to go forward with the speed he's got.
Yeah, and then you've got Stunner, who's in front of Job, who we saw get into the outside wall. Whitford leading that group, doing a great job for himself in the 10. I mean, running in 12th place, not the worst day you could be asking for. And especially for hasn't been racing in this league a lot, missed the last couple of weeks. And Whitford now, doing what he needs to do to make sure that he's making a statement of, hey, I might not be the fastest guy out here, but I certainly can try to be consistent.
I think consistency is key, my friends, and we're looking at consistency here. Is a great racing between a lot of these drivers. Kevin Orlando Jr. now, Mike Ella Jr. in the 73 or the 74, battling for that 7th spot. As you see ahead of that, Huff, Stutler, and Ringer. Man, you're seeing guys that are going backwards on the outside just really struggle with drive off, and that's just got to be a super tight condition for those racetracks.
Yeah, and it's such an awkward spot because you're so used to when you're a lap car or someone who's slow, go to the outside, get out of the way. But the way this course has been, the outside's where you want to be putting yourself for the fastest time. So you're kind of slowing down that whole entire pack by running where you're at.
And man, you're seeing Mike work over the bottom. Can he clear here the 27? I think the 27 had to lift a little bit there not to get the wall. That lets Mike clear. He's up to the 7th position now as Dylan Wolfman trying to follow by Kevin Orlando Jr., who's starting to fall off now. You're seeing guys here in this later part of this run really start to fall off as we've just got past the 40 lap mark almost.
Well, our first of some of the drivers up in the top 20 to come into the pits, that's going to be Eddie Waldermouth, who's going to be coming in with the 26. And I was just about to bring this up. I mean, we've been out here for almost 40 laps. Still got about, 50 to go. Do you want to push it about another 5 to 10 laps? So you're past the halfway marker and you know you're good to maybe making it to the end.
I'm looking at lap 85 really for that pit window to open up. That's very soon, but I would be looking at, if I'm one of these top guys, around lap 90. Make it about a 40 lap run to the end. That way you got less run to the end here than what you ran here before. And you got a little gap, but you cannot lose track position because we've seen already passing is tough, but tires do help. So if you do have that tire advantage, you might be able to make up that difference.
I just want to give a great applause to Peyton Presley, who started off the end of stage 1, did not come into the pits, and has still been out there for 54 laps. Just chugging along right now in 18th place, still in the lead lap, and that is extremely impressive. I thought for sure we were going to be seeing the 11 go a lap down by now, but great job on his part on trying a different strategy, but I don't think it's the strategy that's going to be the winning one, based on the fact that he's just really slow at the moment and soon to be losing a lot of positions.
Yeah, pretty far off pace, and it's definitely not going to work out too well for him. But like you said, great job staying on the lead lap. I mean, he's got much older tires, and that was kind of his goal. I mean, if he catches a caution, he's in a good spot. He saves some tires. So you're racing side by side there. You see John Magner. He's on the bottom. He's going that lap down, or already has there, as the second place cars pass him. As you'll see Eddie Wildermuff on the new tires there directly behind it. We'll see what new tires look like, the differences.
Yeah, right now Loveland and Ehart had to make that pass on those lap cars, and here they come, raging right back. It's the 26. And with the fact that, different tires and the fact that there's different speeds that we're going to be seeing, this is what made the second caution kind of happen, was those different tires and drivers not being patient. You got to be patient if you're going to be passing some of these lead lap cars. Be careful, as it looks like more drivers coming into the pits. We saw there Presley coming in, and now it's going to be Johnston and Menger.
Yeah, new tires are calling their names here, as drivers pretty much hitting about the halfway point here, as they'll come to get their final set, hopefully, for the end of this race. You see Huffstetler still out here in the 94 in the top 5 position for the Professor. As Earhart there, it looks like Loveland may pit, or no, looks like Earhart passed him and Loveland didn't pit. So, yeah, just a great pass there for Trevor Earhart.
4 other drivers, though, did pull into the pits. That's going to be Orlando Jr., Nick Alves, as well as Ian Baker, all coming in this time by. Also, Ringer came in a lap prior to them, and now it's going to be Nate Morris pitting early, and that's a shocker to see, but he was one of the faster cars late in this run, so could have something later on, even if he's pitting this early.
Yeah, he was actually about 2 tenths quicker than our leader at some points during that run. So coming in 1 lap earlier as Jason Finsler will hit pit road. Looks like 25 of Trevor and the 56 of James will both stay out. I like that call from those two. Get the advantage on the tires, because you might be able to hook up together and catch that 5.
Yeah, Stuffler's going to be following as well as Walterman, as what was our leader. Jason Finsler comes to the pits, and he was getting closer to that marker that you said around lap 90, that we might be seeing a lot of these leaders coming in, but staying on a little bit longer. One of those drivers that is trying a different strategy than most. You got to be wondering if some of these guys that are staying out now, if they're planning on staying out, possibly waiting for a caution. Loveland now into the pits.
Loveland's in. Yes, sir, he is. Look at Trevor. He's still out there. Yeah, if you're Trevor, I don't think you're waiting for a pits. This is a strategic move here to get a little bit fresher tires. You're going to lose time in the early portion of this run. But if you can get in the right position and have those fresher tires, you could possibly have enough to get the pass done, because on even tires, passing is going to be very tough to do. I think you're going to have some type of fresher tires if you want to take it to that leader of Jason Finsler.
Trevor Ehart into the pits. Huff Stuffler stays out, as well as Walterman, leaving us with around 5 drivers still waiting to pit. Job stays out again. Stunnard stays out. So a lot of the drivers that are staying out, they're sticking with their strategy, but it sounds like Huffstetler might be coming in this time by.
Yeah, he should definitely be coming this time. Yes, he will. Looks like Walterman in the 46 also will. As believe that's going to leave Job, Justice Stunner, Dennis Steele, and Michael Simmons.
So that's 47 coming to 48 laps. So maybe 48 laps is the most that you can go, coming to 49, possibly, but that is going to be a close window. And now we got to figure out the math on who could make it and who can't. That's going to be putting a big question mark on the 52, I think. He pitted it about 10 laps ago. So I don't think that we're going to be seeing David Bull make it out of everyone else. I think they should be good by at least a lap or two.
Yeah, he may be in trouble there as you see him going by Justin Stunner there in the 52. Yeah, he may be in trouble for David there. We'll have to see. That's the farthest we see anybody go is just that time by, and he's right on the edge of it. So he's going to have to try to, hopefully have enough or save a little bit this next run.
Stunnard is, I think the strategy for him has to be, hey, I've been having a lot of bad luck. If I stay out and a caution comes out, that is the best luck I could be asking for. The only issue is a lot of the drivers that he'd be racing around, they've already unlapped themselves. A lot of the field is already trying to run down that of the 33 and the 1. Finsler right now, about 8.5 seconds back from our leader, and he already pitted.
Yeah, and he's running much quicker lap times too than this 33, so he'll be there very quickly as you're seeing Stunner continue to stretch this run. And like you said, I think he's got to be waiting for a caution. You're saying right now you're just losing way too much time to make it back up with the amount of time left in the race.
Just looking at the different strategies that are out here, you had Nate Morris pitting a lap early, and then Finsler followed suit of a lap after. Do you think maybe Finsler was recognizing or being told who was some of the fastest trucks out there, and was told, hey, the 22 is coming in early, he's trying to get that advantage, let's pit now so we don't give him that big of an advantage anymore?
Yeah, I think I personally, just from watching Jason Finsler over the year, he's very aware of what his surroundings are on the racetrack. If he sees a guy, in his standings that is running similar lap times to him pit, he's going to come down that next time by to make sure that driver doesn't affect him. He knows that driver is quick enough to where they got in front of him, they could have some type of effect where possibly the drivers who push it long, like the 56 and the 25 did, that would slow them down and push him right back into him. And that was exactly what he didn't want to happen. And he played it right as he's got a huge lead over the rest of the field here once it all gets back in his hands.
Well, Stunnard and Steele still out there for 52 laps, so I think Bull might be all right to make it. It's a little concerned, but after seeing how far we've been seeing both those drivers go, I think we were all right for them. As Steele continues to stay out, Stunnard comes in, but Finsler makes the pass on the 1, leads that lap, and hopefully, hoping that this race goes green so he can lead the rest.
Yeah, Stunnard hit pit road. He actually had a huge mistake. Got that car sideways, almost spun it as he hit pit road. So he was able to get it back straight and going. But, man, that was a big moment for him there, as I believe Dennis Steele, we'll see when he hits pit road. It looks like he will be coming this time on the 1, so he'll go up second position to Nate Morris. As now it looks like every driver has made their pit stop here for the final time tonight.
I don't know what happened. I'm looking at some of the drivers that have DNF'd out of this race, and you'll see it out of the 4 that have DNF'd so far. Eddie Weldermouth, I don't know what happened to the 26. He was looking so poised for a top 10, maybe even a top 5 finish, and he is now DNF'd back in 26th position. Not the day he was hoping for, especially based off where the points are for that driver.
Yeah, he needed a good night tonight, and that was not how it wanted to go for him, especially after the stage. He had a good run the stage, made the good strategy call, had good track position, just lost it slowly there and made that pit stop, and something must have happened through that pit sequence there with the newer tires, and he is out of this race. As now the battle for second heats up as Loveland to the inside of Nate Morris here, as he's going to try to run down our leader, Jason Finsler, but can't let Morris hold him up too long.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Finsler and Morris both running very similar lap times. And then you've got Loveland, who's running about 0.2 faster than those two. And looking at the 56, he pitted about a lap later than Finsler, so has a lap fresher tires than the 5. Has about 2 lap fresher tires than the 22. Will make the pass for second place. James Loveland is in cruise control. The only issue is that he might have been pushing it a little bit too early, too soon, and it's going to hurt him on the long run.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it hurts him here, but I'll tell you what, it didn't hurt him too much with Nate Morris getting into the wall there on entry and really letting that 56 make the easy pass there to move in the second now. Now Loveland just has to focus on going forward and see if he can run down Finsler in these final 30 laps of this race. Morris, though, going to have to try to hold on, see if he can hold back Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a tall order for these drivers. And a lot of them now trying to figure out, will their strategy work out? Looking at some of the drivers that pitted later than, a little bit after Loveland, and that's going to be Huff-Stuffler and Walterman. Both those drivers pretty far back, but hoping that they can maybe put themselves into the top 5. But this is, I think this was exactly what, you usually see with these early caution wreckfest races. A lot of wrecks in stage 1 because everyone's understanding those points are so important. And then after that, it's all about the long game and how do you stay patient and have those tires at the end.
Long game is going to play out here, Sam, if this thing stays green. That's going to be the name of the game. Is got to give credit here to the 74 of Mike Aiello Jr. here running the 5th position. Remember, he stayed out there that one extra lap, came down pit road, lost a lot of track position, but he's drove himself back into the top 5 after sitting on the pole here tonight. Showed a lot of speed here.
Yeah, doing a great job coming back into this thing in 5th place. Hit it a little bit earlier than everyone else, so trying to gain some time back. And with the way that, Brad Ringer was just pushing so aggressively, I wouldn't be worrying about too much with the 76. The 24 of Alves, though, I think that's a driver that Aleo's got to be concerned about. Also, Huff-Stuffler and Walterman, as both of them running pretty quick lap times.
I'll tell you what, Alves, could he drive himself up into the top 5 here? The catch-up, Mike, is going to be the question. That would be his first top 5 of the season. That'd be great to see for him there, as he's had a good season, but just hasn't got a top 5 yet. He's had some top 10s, just no top 5s to go with it yet. And here he goes, trying to get 6 on Brad Ringer.
Ringer going to be on the 1 lap older tires, but we saw that he is extremely aggressive early in these first about 5 to 10 laps on these tires, and those are very important moments. You've got fresh rubber, you feel like you can full throttle it forever, and then you realize, oh, I now am going to be tight for the rest of this run. It's so important how well you run early on in these stages. Huff-Stuffler, what a job for the 94. He's now up to 6th and still cruising on.
Yeah, he's continuing forward, and he stayed out a good bit longer than these guys. He's now up to that 6th position. He's past Brad Ringer, as Walterman now trying to get past Ringer. So Aiello Jr. doesn't have to worry about Alves or Ringer anymore. He's got to worry about Huff-Stuffler and Walterman as the 46 and this 94 continue forward as we got less than 30 to go. Can they get it done a few seconds up the road?
We got a total of 14 drivers still on the lead lap. No, take that back, down to 13. As Bull going to be going another lap down. But man, what a run we've been seeing from the 5 machine. Finsler just doing what he's been doing all season long. Be up front, lead, look like, and dominate, and make it look easy. Great job for himself. But something I'm excited for is we're going to be going to a completely different course than what we've been seeing all season long. We're staying here at Charlotte. We're going to the Charlotte Roval next week. And the Roval for about 40 laps, that is going to be a wild race to see who can stay on course and who can't. As we continue to wait for how this race is going to go. But looking forward, we still got 4 races left, not counting this one, of races that until the regular season's over. Then we got playoff time. So still got a lot of different racetracks to worry about.
Well, if anybody knows anything about me here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, go to the Roval next week. I'm super excited. Love road course racing with stock cars. One of my favorite things to watch and not only do, but can't wait to see that next week. And that's going to give us also a good reading, I think, Sam, into maybe Watkins Glen. Way different tracks, but still a similar skill level to driving on a road course. So let's see which driver is the guy to beat on a road course. Is it Jason Finsler, or is that not his forte? We'll have to see, because here tonight, if he leaves here with 8 wins, that'll be half of the races he's won through these first 16 starts. You know, with the road course in the playoffs, if that's a weakness of his, somebody could have a good strength there. That could be their week to strike and get some points on that number 5.
Yeah, Watkins Glen will be the final race of the season. So very important to have a good run there. But yeah, the Roval next week, 40 laps. I mean, that is going to be at least, you're getting comfortable here tonight, getting used to the oval section of the road course that you'll be racing on. But, just looking forward into the rest of the regular season. You got the Roval, then you got Pocono, Talladega, and Homestead. And it's just a crazy race that these guys are going to be having.
Very, we're kind of hitting everything here. We're going to a road course. Then we're going to a 2.5 mile super speedway as Daytona and Talladega were. Then we go to Daytona and Talladega. Then we have the 1.5 mile at Homestead for the playoffs. So many different tracks, but once we get to the playoffs, it gets even wild there too.
Yeah, it is going to be a wild one overall. As on screen, we're seeing the battle for 4th place. Nate Morris, Michael Leo Jr. These guys are, actually, this is Hutt Stuffler and Leo Jr. that are battling.
Yes, Finsler's still hanging on to that gap. He's got 4.8 seconds. Loveland's been taking hundredths out, but it's just not going to be enough here with 20 to go to be able to get up to that 5 and challenge. Going to need some type of mistake or caution to be able to do that. But Trevor Earhart, he's got past Nate Morris now up to 3rd with Nate Morris dropping back to 4th. But I tell you who's got pressure now is Huffsteller up to 5th as Mike Elo Jr. is getting passed by Dylan Walshman. Also, as Elo Jr., our pulsator going backwards as Hutt Stutler and Walshman continuing forward.
They got some of the freshest tires on the track, so I'm not surprised that they're working well together. They're just, right now, Walterman's just letting Hutt Stuffler utilize, break the air, really make these passes so he's not using up his tires too aggressively, and they continue to just chug along. The next driver they're going to be trying to catch up to would be Nate Morris, but that's 6.3 seconds in front of them. That seems a little bit too far for them to even try to make that type of a pass.
Oh, and 18 laps, that's a long way, a very long way for sure, as Nate Morris here, as they come out of 2. Nate Morris is just going into 3, so it's about a straightaway lead for that 4th to 5th and 6th position there. So it's a mighty gap, but I tell you what, if Morris makes a mistake, gets to a wall and loses a couple seconds drastically, they could be there in a heartbeat, because, man, I tell you what, they're, like you said, some of the freshest tires on the track, running some of the fastest times on the track.
Still, these drivers have about 2 sets of tires still left in pit road if needed, if a caution comes out late here. And with the ways that these drivers are running, some of them seem fine and they're keeping themselves steady, moving forward, running consistent lap times. Others seem quite aggressive and they're trying to hold on to dear life, as they have really hurt their chances of a great run. Brad Ringer, one of those drivers, he just seems like the center of the corner. He's pushing so hard, trying to stick with the drivers in front of him. It just continues to hurt those tires more and more. And the more and more they get hurt, the more tighter you're going to get. And sometimes it could get snapping loose off the exit. And I'm concerned that we might be seeing some drivers, if they've been aggressive for so long, would they possibly be setting themselves up for a spin with maybe less than 10 laps to go?
Well, if they're going to get everything out of it, they're going to be definitely searching for it now. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone did spin at this point. I mean, this is the hardest you're going to drive the truck all night. You got to get every little bit you can out of it here. As you see Orlando Jr. there, he's directly ahead of Job and Baker. A couple seconds for him, as he's got to try to run down Brad Ringer there. We were talking about for that 9th position. But a good ways up to Brad Ringer. But, man, in this last portion of the race, you can make or break it right here. I mean, we're running the high line here at Kansas. That shows you how off I am. I'm thinking this is Kansas, how much these guys run the high line. But Charlotte here tonight, really running the high line. It's not, very easy to get into that wall. It can happen so quickly. There's bumps up there, and these drivers have done a great job all night. You can't have a mental lapse here in the last 14 laps that really put you into the wall and damage your race strip enough to where you're going to be really down speed.
I mean, Zach, as we're getting closer and closer to less than 10 laps to go in this race, I mean, we're not surprised to see Jason Fensler up front, but were there any surprises during this race that you were seeing?
Yeah, just a really big surprise for me personally has been Nate Morris. I know he's got speed, he's shown it really every week that he's been here, and has a win to his name. But to drive from 24th to 4th and the way he did it too, I mean, it's been a very impressive run. I'm nonetheless to say for him. Just going to come up a little bit short, of course. Racing with the lead guys up here, but man, the drive up to 4 for him for a night the way it's a dominant on the outside line. He's definitely a driver that's been highlighted in my mind out there making big moves.
Yeah, I mean, coming into this race, Nate Morris was he's up to 16th in points, so he's still a little bit outside of the bubble of making it into the top 12 to make it into the playoffs. So, coming in late in the regular season, it's not a terrible thing. He had a lot of really good runs out of the 8 races that he ran before tonight. 7 of those races were top 10s, 4 were top 5s with 1 win, like we said at Las Vegas. So, Morris might be poisoning himself to have a late run into the regular season and set himself up for the playoffs if he somehow can get in.
Yeah, and he's actually even with the amount of races he's done, he's pretty close to that 12th position in points. He's really, I mean, he's 382 back from the leader, and Brett Somers' 12th in points is 337 back. So really not a huge gap there. And I tell you what, in these next few races, if he can make each race with his consistency of finishing top 5 and top 10 each week, he could really move up that list and push a few guys out. Possibly.
Well, I mean, with his win, he's locked in. So, I mean, it's one of those things of, now it's staying, make sure you're within the top 20. So that counts with that win.
Yeah, that's very true. I completely forgot he had the win there to lock himself in there for a second. So, yeah, locking himself in. He's 16th in points. So he's, a good bit ahead of here, 20th. Just going to have to really make the races, I believe, to keep himself in that top 20.
Oh boy, the battling that's going on for 10th place, it is hot and heavy. Matt Job, Kevin Orlando Jr., they are side by side. And what's important about that pass by Kevin Orlando Jr., it pushes Job out. And Job, I'm looking at these stats of these drivers this season. Job had 0 top 5s. I don't know how it's possible for him to have 0 top 5s, but he needs to have a better run. The consistency has put him inside of the top 10 in points, but man, this is baffling my mind that the 89 still hasn't gotten a top 5 yet.
Yeah, he's had the runs to get top 5s multiple times this season. I mean, you could really fill up your hand how many times he's should have been on the top 5, with the way you count there. So, I mean, he's a driver looking to break in there. He's been consistent with 11 top 10s, but just it seems like that from 6th on up, he just can't get past. But we'll see if he can break into that barrier here late into the season. Don't look like it's going to happen tonight here as he's battling for a top 10 here again.
Still battling strong, trying to make it 12 top 10s this season is going to be Job. And Kevin Orlando Jr., currently in 11th in points, but has been showing a lot of pace, has 2 top 5s, 9 top 10s. 27, certainly a driver that I'm going to mark as a dark horse if he finds himself into the playoffs, because he certainly has the pace. It's that consistency, and I feel like I say that so many times because there's a lot of drivers here that have that speed to be up front, have a chance to win these races, but just a lack of knowledge on how to save tires or just terrible luck.
I tell you what, racing luck is definitely a huge factor when it comes to seasons, but sometimes they say you make your own luck too. So you gotta kind of throw that out the window and just do the best you possibly can here, as these drivers are doing. And you gotta learn also through the season. There's drivers that go through ups and downs. We've seen, want to highlight Ian Baker, really strong to start off the season. There as Job makes the pass, great for him to get into the top 10. But Ian Baker, really strong to start the season and seemed to have the tire management under wraps as he dominated Texas, but just hasn't had that same prowess this late in this regular season. Has seemed to really drop back into the later half of the top 10 and really sometimes even out of the top 10 for that 88.
Baker tried a different strategy this race. Didn't work out for himself and was hoping to stay on the lead lap, but Finsler on the outside going to be making the pass on the 88, bringing us with a total of 11 drivers left on the lead lap. We're coming to 3 laps to go once we cross the line.
I mean, that's a rapid pace too that Fiddler's running. Just, I mean, think about it too. I mean, we've only had one green flag stop here. I mean, it's really been only 2 green flag runs, and he's been able to lap all the way up to that 11th position. And personally, Orlando Jr., I mean, he's gonna be a threat to get him a 3 to go with the pace that Fiddler's running still at.
Still running as hard as they can. 3 laps to go. Jason Finsler. I mean, we document it almost every week, it seems like. Going for another win. He's been so consistent. Out of the 15 starts, not counting today's race, he's finished in the top 10 14 times, top 5 13 times, and currently has 7 wins, trying to make it 8. And these stats just, they blow your mind as he's trying to say that he has won half of the races so far ran. If he wins here today, 2 laps to go.
I tell you what, that's great stats to bring with him into the playoffs, but he's going to hope to carry that same momentum there as tonight. Just another dominant performance in the chapter book for him here in this season. And I tell you what, it's been a beautiful one so far for him, for looking to bring home 8 wins. This is going to take the white flag here.
Jason Finsler coming across, white flag in the air, and now sees Kevin Orlando Jr. with this pass. It will leave us with 10 cars left on the lead lap. We'll see if Orlando Jr. can stay on the lead lap as they're coming out of 2, but the 5 of Jason Finsler, as we are going to have 4 more races to go in the regular season. Playoffs right around the corner. Finsler is hitting his marks when it matters. He just needs to carry this momentum. Makes the pass. 10 cars left on the lead lap, and dominance as coming out of 4. Here at Charlotte, it is going to be Jason Finsler, win number 8 this season.
What a job by Jason Finsler. Another win in the record books for him. 8 this season, 16 starts. That's 50%. This man has got a great batting average when it comes to getting to victory lane, as he'll bring that 5 truck back around here to be able to do some more burnouts for us. He's early in the season, Sam, before you came here with this, he didn't do burnouts. He was never a guy that did burnouts. Robert asked him to do burnouts, and he's been burning out every week. I feel like it's been kind of his new thing.
Yeah, it has been incredible to see the 5 burn it down. What I was watching coming to the end, coming across the line, the battle for 5th place, incredible to see side by side between Walterman and Huffstutler. It was Walterman by 1/100th of a second, somehow able to beat out that of the 94.
Wow, what a job by him there to get that. You'll take any position you can by any margin, and Walterman there cracking into the top 5 over the professor of Sean Huffstutler. But look at these great burnouts here, man. What a great race we had here tonight.
It was incredible. You got to see a lot of wrecks and carnage in that stage 1. But once these drivers understood it was racing it to the end, we stayed green. And it was the 5 of Jason Finsler. Everyone else, they tried different strategies. Nate Morris looked quick, possibly had a chance to catch up to the 5, but there just wasn't enough time, and the strategy wasn't there. As the 5 car continues to burn it down, we'll get ready for interviews with our top 3 of Finsler, Loveland, and Ehart, and we'll be right back in just a few.
All right, we are back here, everybody, as we got our top 3 finishers here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Underdog Racing League. First up, for our third place man, Trevor Earhart here in the 25. Let's see what he has to say about his third place run here tonight, Charlotte. Hey, Trevor, Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, how's it going?
Going good, man. I tell you what, wild race here tonight at Charlotte. After that first stage there, went completely green to the end. Trevor, man, you were able to bring home a top 3. How were you able to put yourself in position here tonight for this race?
Just track position and save the tires the best I could. We got that first caution there early on, like I think lap 16 or something like that, and we were all kind of debating on pitting or not, and I decided to stay out, and it worked out. Lost a couple positions to those guys on the fresher tires, but in the end was able to save enough to get back to get back up there toward the end of the race and work through the traffic. Overall, it was a pretty good race. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was pretty good, man. I tell you what, you got a lot of battles going on throughout the racetrack here tonight. And, with this new update iRacing has brought to the tracks, tonight the Highline just super dominant here at Charlotte. Kind of describe to us what kind of change up that was from normal Charlotte.
So, typically with Charlotte, you'd run the white line, the whole way around the racetrack, and you could get that middle groove to work if you had a line of trucks going there. But tonight, on fresh tires, you could get it to roll pretty well on the bottom for the first couple of laps, but after that, it got really tight down there, and the run you got off on the top side was just so much better. So it was just easier to run up top, and I think you ended up saving more tires up there as well.
Well, that's definitely very interesting for Charlotte here, as we're definitely seeing a new Charlotte here for this new iRacing build, but it definitely was fun to watch nonetheless, man. But I tell you what, congrats on third here tonight. We head back to the Charlotte Roval next week, so we'll see what you can do turning right and left, Trevor. But before we let you go, anybody wants to shout to me?
Typically, again, shout out to you guys for the great job. Shout out to everybody in the league for a great race, and definitely looking forward to the Roval next week. One of my favorite tracks to go race at, so definitely looking forward to that one.
Awesome stuff, Trevor, man. Well, we will catch you next week at the Roval, and we'll see what you can do turning right and left, buddy.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too, man. All right, that was Trevor Earhart there in the 25, as he was able to bring home another top 3 finish here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As we'll head to the Roval next week. You heard he said he's very excited, so I'm excited to see how he does there. But now we can bring up our second place man, James Loveland, continuing his good form of finish up in the top 3. Let's see what the 56 has to say. Hey, James, is Zach up in the booth, man? You got a copy? Well, James, man, you're able to keep yourself up front for most of the night, starting in that 6th position, man, but you worked your way into the 2nd finishing position here tonight. How were you able to do that here at a top dominant Charlotte?
To be honest, I don't really know. This is not my best tire saving track, but I guess I just did the right strategy at the right time and managed to keep my distance from Trevor and try to catch Fensler, but not enough.
Well, I tell you what, man, it was a great run nonetheless for you here tonight. Bring home a 2nd place finish. Great run again for yourself. But next week, no change of scenery here, but a definitely change of a track here as we're coming back to Charlotte, but the Roval. What are your feelings about, coming back here for the Roval race next week?
I like road course racing. I just got to keep my truck straight. Hopefully I don't spin out, but yeah, I think it'll be a fun race. Hopefully be up front and try to steal a win from Fensler, who's dominating.
Hey, man, I tell you what, it'll be fun to watch next week, James. It's been fun to watch every week, and I can't wait to see you guys turn right and left for the first time this season next week here again at Charlotte. But before we let you go, man, for your 2nd place finish, anybody want to send a shout to?
Yeah, definitely you guys for doing the broadcast. You guys do great broadcasts. Watch them every week, and thanks to Underdog Racing League for doing this league for us. I really enjoy it. Great racers, great time. I'm looking forward to next week and running the Roval.
Awesome stuff, James, man. We'll have a great night, and we will catch you next week back here at Charlotte.
Yep, thank you guys.
All right, that was James Loveland, your second place finisher here tonight at the Underdog Racing League. But now we got our 8-time winner himself, Jason Finsler, as he brings home another victory here tonight for the Underdog Racing League. Hey, Jason, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, welcome back to Victory Lane, Jason. Your 8th time this season, man. Charlotte, definitely a little bit of a different Charlotte than we've seen in the past. But, man, I tell you what, you were able to get it done here tonight. What was the most important thing you think to be able to get this done here tonight?
It was a different Charlotte for sure. Going up on the top like that hadn't really been like that. And I hadn't ran the track in a long time. So just had to adjust to that, find a pace that worked for me. You just really had to be patient with the throttle and try and stay off the right front tire.
Yeah, and you seem to be able to really master that, Jason. It's been really, I think, the key to your season is just you've been able to keep that right front tire under you better than really anybody and run at a pace to, hold on to the lead. You're not giving up positions to save. So, it's been fun to watch, man. How big a pace change is it running the top here? Because, it's, we're used to sticking it right on the line here. Now we're running, on the seams, upper, and, almost right against the wall. So it's definitely a big change of pace, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Normally we're painting a line on the bottom, like you say, and that's what took me a little bit to figure out was where to be on the top and how to get the truck to kind of rotate in the center. So it took me a little while. Even through practice, I wasn't real comfortable, but during a race, I kind of found something that seemed to work, and I just tried to maintain a pace. But James ran a good race, and we were about neck and neck, honestly. But I just got good track position, and then I kind of went against what I normally do as far as pitting, and I pitted a lap earlier than I wanted to, and actually that ended up helping me because it built that gap.
Yeah, definitely did, man. I tell you what, it was fun to watch here tonight at Charlotte. Your 8th win of the season. Now, like I said to James before, no change of scenery, as next week we'll be back here at Charlotte, but we will be on the Roval circuit. So, how's your left and right turning going to be, Jason? You feel like?
I kind of struggle at the Roval, to be honest with you. So I'll practice a little bit and see if we can get a little bit better. But honestly, if we can stay out of trouble and keep it on a blacktop and salvage a decent finish out of it, I'll be happy with that.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, from what you've done this season, I would expect none the less from yourself, as you are a fantastic driver, man. But congrats on the win here tonight again, Jason. And before we let you go, man, anybody want to send a shout to?
Yeah, just all the boys at Underdog Racing League and you guys doing the broadcast, friends and family watching, and I appreciate you guys broadcasting this. It's pretty cool.
Well, Jason, we appreciate you putting on the show out there for us each and every week, man. And you have a great night, and we will catch you back here at Charlotte next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, boys.
You too, buddy. All right, everybody. That was your race winner here tonight. Jason Finsler here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. He'll be coming back here, trying to get his 9th win of the season here at the Charlotte Roval next Wednesday night. So don't miss that here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, live always here at 8:30 on Wednesday nights here at the Underdog Racing League. But that was our interviews here tonight with the Underdog Racing League. All right, everybody. What a fantastic race it's been here tonight. Let's go ahead and bring our race results up and show you where your favorite drivers finished tonight in the standings. As we had a fantastic outside race here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, first here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, I must say. So it was cool to see something different definitely play out. But here is our race results. Jason Finsler bringing home that 8th win of the season. Second's going to go to James Loveland. Third is Trevor Earhart. Fourth's going to be Nate Morris. Fifth going to go to Dylan Walterman. Sixth, Sean Hustutler. Eighth's going to be Sixth is going to be Sean Hustutler. Seventh is going to be Mike Aiello Jr. Eighth will be Nick Alves. Ninth, Brad Ringer. 10th's going to go to Matt Jobe. 11th will be Kevin Orlando Jr. 12th, Ian Baker. 13th, Darrell Whitford. 14th, Justin Stunnard. 15th is David Boel. 16th is Peyton Presley. 17th, Michael Simmons. 18th, Justice Murphy. 19th is Dennis Steele. 20th is Parker Johnston. 21st will go to Kevin Whitford. 22nd, John Magner. 23rd, Scott Kerber. 21st is going to be Christopher Heights. 25th, Jake Williams. 26th, Eddie Wildermuth. 27th, Lance Derman. Rounding out your field in the 28th position will be Douglas Wolcott, as that is your race results here tonight from the Underdog Racing League here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for their Truck Series round number 16. As next week we'll be back here for round number 17 for the Charlotte Roval first road course race of the season. But what a fantastic race it was here tonight. Sam wanted to tell you all, thank you all for tuning in, as he had to get out of here and head off to his next broadcast. But we thank Sam here for joining us tonight. I had a great time up here. Thank you all for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. But let's go ahead and send it up to our producer, Robert Moyer Jr. here to close out tonight's broadcast at the Underdog Racing League.
All right. I'd like to say thank you to Zach. Awesome calling. Sam, thank you for the awesome calling. And, man, what a great race. Charlotte always puts on a great race, watching some battling. And tonight the field, battled there at the beginning before the stage one, and then it all got separated out, and everybody ran their race and finished pretty clean. So overall, I feel it was a good race, and I hope everybody out there enjoyed tonight's race. If you enjoyed this content and you enjoy racing and you enjoy NASCAR style trucks, cup, anything like that, make sure you hit that subscribe button on Facebook and YouTube. We do much appreciated, and you won't miss any of the action here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as we will be live on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, and starting in June, Thursday nights, and then we got Saturday, and we got a doubleheader on Sunday. So we have a lot of racing for everybody to come out and watch and root on your favorite driver, or just come on and root on your favorite commentator. But our next broadcast won't be until Sunday morning at 9:50 with Bonfire Racing League. So hopefully everybody has a great rest of their week. Don't work too hard, but we'll catch you then. We want to say up here, Freaky Fast. God bless everybody. We love yous all. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Simple, dear. I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn. Your pawn. Your pawn. My love. My love.